A man is trapped in a world where survival is measured in days, and death comes every night. This is the story of 30 Days Against Endless Zombies, where hope fades and only the strongest survive. The first thing he noticed was the silence. Not the peaceful kind, the wrong kind. No birds, no wind, no movement. Just a heavy stillness pressing against his ears like the world itself had stopped breathing. He opened his eyes slowly. Pain hit first, a dull ache behind his skull, like something had gone very wrong before he woke up. He pushed himself up from the ground. Dust clung to his hands, dry, cold, dead. He looked around. Nothing made sense. A small wooden shack stood a few steps away. Old, weather-beaten, alone in the middle of an empty land that stretched too far in every direction. No roads, no signs, no people. Just that shack, like it had been waiting for him. He swallowed slowly, forcing himself to stand. His legs felt heavy, like they didn't fully belong to him yet. "Think," he muttered under his breath. But nothing came. No memories, no mission, no reason. Only instinct. And instinct told him one thing: move. Now. He approached the shack carefully, every step slow, controlled, alert. The wooden door creaked as he pushed it open. The sound echoed too loudly. Inside, the air was thick with dust. A broken generator sat in the corner. Old tools scattered across the floor. A rusted lantern hung from a nail on the wall. And resting against the far side, a rifle. He stared at it for a long moment. Loaded, clean, placed, not dropped, like someone had left it there for him. A cold feeling crept into his chest. This wasn't random. He picked up the rifle, checked it. Ready. Good. Because something about this place felt wrong. He stepped back outside. The sun was still high, but already beginning its slow descent. Time. He didn't know why, but he felt it. Time mattered here. He scanned the land again, and this time he noticed something new. Scrap. Broken metal pieces scattered across the ground. Parts from machines, ruined equipment, abandoned but not useless. His survival instinct sharpened. Resources. He moved quickly, collecting what he could carry. Metal, ammo, anything that looked like it could be used. The silence followed him everywhere. Too quiet, too empty, like the world was watching. By the time the sun dipped lower, his arms were full. He returned to the shack, and then something changed. The air shifted. The light dimmed faster than it should, and that silence finally broke. A sound, soft, dragging. He froze. It came again, closer. A slow scrape like something being pulled across dirt. His grip tightened around the rifle. He moved toward the door, step by step, and opened it just enough to look outside. At first, he saw nothing. Then, movement. At the edge of the trees, something stood there, unstable, leaning forward. Its body looked wrong, like it had forgotten how to stand properly. Its arms hung loose, its head twitched slightly. Then, suddenly, it snapped toward him. Their eyes met, and in that moment, he understood. This wasn't a survivor. This was something else, something dead, something hungry. It let out a broken sound, not quite a growl, not quite a breath. And then it ran, fast, too fast. He slammed the door shut, raised the rifle. The first impact hit the wood hard, scratching, pounding. He fired. The shot exploded through the shack. The creature staggered, but didn't fall. He fired again, closer this time. The third shot dropped it. Silence returned. For a moment, he thought it was over. Then, another sound, behind the shack. Then another, and another. His breathing slowed, not from calm,
but from realization. He stepped toward the window, looked out. Shapes, more of them, emerging from the darkness, slow at first, then faster, then too many to count, surrounding him. That's when the truth hit him. This wasn't a one-time attack. This was a pattern. Day to prepare, night to survive, and each night they would come back, stronger, more, hungrier. He backed away from the window, reloaded the rifle. His hands were shaking now, not from fear, but from understanding. This is a countdown. He didn't know how he knew it, but he did. 30 days, that's all he had. 30 days to survive a world that was already dead. Outside, the creatures began to pound against the walls, harder, faster, smarter. The second night hadn't even begun, and already they were learning.
By day 7, he realized he wasn't alone. The second night didn't feel like the first. It was worse. They didn't hesitate anymore. They didn't wander. They came straight for him. The moment darkness fell, the first impact hit the wall, hard, precise, not random, like they remembered where he was. He fired through the window. One dropped, then another, but more kept coming, faster this time, stronger. One of them slammed against the door so hard the wood cracked. His heart didn't race, it slowed, because now he understood something terrifying. They weren't just attacking, they were adapting. By morning, he was still alive, but barely. The shack looked different now, scratches carved deep into the wood, blood smeared across the walls, bullet casings everywhere, and the silence felt heavier than before. He stepped outside slowly. The sunlight touched his face, but it didn't bring comfort anymore, because now he knew what was coming when it disappeared. Still, he had no choice. He needed to prepare. Day after day, the same cycle repeated. Search, collect, build, survive. By day 3, he had reinforced the walls. By day 5, the generator was running. Lights flickered inside the shack, weak but alive. And for the first time, the darkness didn't feel completely in control. But hope doesn't last long in a dead world. On day 7, everything changed. He wasn't searching far from the shack when he heard it. A voice, faint, broken, help. He froze instantly. For a moment, he thought it was a trick, something mimicking a human voice. But then it came again, weaker, desperate. That wasn't a monster. That was human. He followed the sound carefully, rifle raised, every step cautious, until he found him. A man collapsed against a rusted vehicle. Blood covered his shirt. His breathing was shallow. Alive, but not for long. The soldier didn't speak, didn't hesitate. He lifted the man onto his shoulder and carried him back, because out here, survival alone was already impossible. Survival together, maybe that was the only chance. The injured man woke hours later, confused, weak. "You saved me?" The soldier didn't answer right away. Then, finally, he said, "Stay alive. That's enough." That night, there were 2 of them, and the monsters noticed. The attack came earlier than usual. Before the sun fully disappeared, they were already there, more than before, and louder. They slammed into the walls like they were trying to tear the world open. The injured man grabbed a weapon, hands shaking. "Are you ready?" he asked. The soldier didn't look at him. "No." Then he loaded his rifle. "But we don't get a choice." The first wave hit hard, the second harder. By the third, they were inside. One broke through the sidewall, another climbed through the window. Everything turned chaotic. Gunfire, screams, splintering wood. The injured man missed a shot. One of them lunged, too fast. The soldier reacted instantly, fired point blank. The creature dropped inches away, too close.
way too close. By the time the sun rose, they were both still alive, but something had changed. The shack was no longer safe, and neither were they. The injured man looked at him, exhausted, shaken. "This keeps getting worse, doesn't it?" The soldier didn't answer. He didn't need to, because both of them already knew. Outside, the bodies were different now, bigger, stronger, and some of them looked like they had learned how to break through defenses. This wasn't just survival anymore. This was evolution, and they were falling behind. The soldier turned back towards the shack, towards the broken walls, towards the failing defenses, towards another night that was already coming. Then he said something quietly, almost to himself. "If we stay like this," he paused, "we won't make it to day 30. The sun continued to rise, but this time it didn't feel like hope. It felt like a countdown.
By day 12, they stopped counting bodies. There were too many. The ground outside the shack had turned dark, not from shadow, but from what had been left behind. And still, every night, more came. They weren't just surviving anymore, they were preparing for something worse. By day 15, they found another survivor, a woman. She didn't speak much, didn't trust easily, but her aim was steady, and in this world, that mattered more than words. Now, there were 3 of them, 3 people against something that never stopped growing. The days became shorter, the nights longer. It felt like the darkness was stretching, and the creatures, they had changed. Some moved faster, some hit harder, some didn't fall even after multiple shots. One of them reached the wall and didn't attack. It just stood there, watching, learning. By day 20, sleep became impossible, not because they didn't try, but because every time they closed their eyes, they heard it, breathing, dragging, waiting. The generator barely held. The walls were patched with scrap and desperation. Ammo was running low. Hope, that had already started to fade. On day 23, they almost died. The attack came early, too early. The sun hadn't even fully set, and already the first wave hit, harder than anything before. The creatures broke through faster, smarter. One of them grabbed the second survivor, pulled him down. The soldier reacted instantly, shot the creature, but it was too late. The man didn't get back up. Silence followed, not the empty kind, the heavy kind, the kind that stays after something is lost. The woman didn't cry, she just reloaded her weapon. "We keep going," she said, and the soldier nodded, because in this world, stopping meant dying. By day 25, it was just the 2 of them, and the nights were no longer survivable. They were endured, barely. The creatures had grown stronger. Some climbed walls, some broke doors in seconds. Some moved so fast they were almost impossible to track. And then, day 30 came. The air felt different that morning. He noticed it immediately. No wind, no sound, no movement. Even the silence felt wrong. The woman stepped outside slowly, scanning the horizon. "It's quiet," she said. The soldier didn't answer, because he already knew. Quiet was never a good sign. They spent the day preparing anyway, reinforcing what little was left, checking every weapon, counting every bullet. Not many, not enough. As the sun began to fall, the sky turned red, darker than before, almost like a warning. And then, nothing happened. Minutes passed, then more. No sounds, no movement. The woman lowered her weapon slightly. "Maybe it's over." The soldier shook his head slowly. No, because deep down, he felt it. Something was coming. And then, the ground shook. A low, heavy sound rolled across the land, not like footsteps, like something massive dragging itself closer. From the darkness, it appeared, bigger than the others, stronger, not stumbling, not broken, controlled. And behind it, hundreds more. This wasn't another wave. This was the end. They stood side by side. No words, no fear, just acceptance. The woman looked at him. "We made it to day 30. He nodded. "Yeah." Then he loaded the last of his ammo. But I don't think we were meant to survive it. The creatures charged, faster than ever before. Gunfire exploded into the night. One after another, they fell. But more kept coming. Endless, unstoppable. The walls collapsed. The generator died. Darkness swallowed everything. The woman screamed, then silence. The soldier kept firing until the last bullet. Click, empty. The creatures closed in, closer, closer. He didn't run, didn't fight. He just stood there, watching them. And for the first time, he understood. This wasn't about survival. It never was. It was about how long a human could endure before the darkness finally won. The creatures reached him. Everything went black. Morning came. The shack stood again, unbroken, silent, and inside, a rifle rested against the wall, clean, loaded, waiting for the next one.